providing live finance advice on WMAC since 1993. It's time for Your Money with Steve Rosenberg, Sherri Goss, and Randy Goss. To participate in today's program, call 478-742-0940 with your financial questions or comments. And now live from the Macon studios of News Talk 940 WMAC, it's Your Money.
So this latest round of tariffs, so the big headline is that consumer goods and from smartphones to apparel are being impacted by the latest tariff hit, and JCPenney's is tanking. And the market's down for multiple things. But I don't notice any cost difference in anything that I buy at all from the tariff. In fact, I've bought some clothes since the tariff started. I go to the grocery store every week.
Well, it's Chinese goods, though, right?
Right. I guess I don't need a smartphone, so that's not being affected. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything.
Are the clothes you buy from China?
No, because most of them, I looked at the tags, most of my stuff comes from Vietnam.
Well, then it's not going to
Right. Nothing I buy comes from China.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the technology stuff.
Maybe toys. I don't even know if they make toys anymore, but a lot of that stuff is shifting. So 50 companies are leaving China. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, 50. Some Chinese companies are even leaving China because they can go to Vietnam and make more money because the wages are half.
And they don't have the Chinese government hanging over them.
Yeah. So their people are running in droves out of the country. Within a year, Foxconn, who assembles Apple products, they're leaving. Stanley Black & Decker and Whirlpool are coming back to the United States. And there's like 6 Asian countries that people are moving to where wages are cheaper and there are no tariffs. So this is really starting to put the hurt on them. I just want this trade war over. That's all I want for Christmas, people. I asked for it for my birthday. I didn't get it. So the next big thing is Christmas.
Yeah, but you didn't have anybody to talk to except your husband. What you can do now, you can talk to Santa Claus. And tell Santa Claus.
I'll write him a letter.
Write him a little letter.
I want the trade war done. I need it over with so we can just get out of this news of all this garbage. Just get it over with. Anyways, so they're talking now about...
Let me give the phone number.
That's a good idea.
We didn't even tell people who we are. Anyway, 742-0940 is the number. We are live. Today is August 3rd.
Already.
So I was gone for part of the week. We had a conference up in Banff, Calgary. And it's gorgeous up there because the mountains are right there. You see a lot of the same stuff when you go to Colorado. I mean, they're like right there. And but the thing that was the neatest thing of all was, and this has nothing to do with anything that's important, but you know how crosswalks, like if you're in New York or something, you're doing crosswalks, so the light's green for the way you're going so you can cross?
Well, in Canada, when we went, if you're standing there, the cars have to stop. Where we were, everywhere we stopped at a crosswalk, all the cars stopped, even if they had a green light.
Really?
And so we were in a restaurant one night, and I said, "What is the deal? Everybody stops as soon as we show up at the corner." Yeah. And he says, "It's the law in this town that if there are people crossing, you stop regardless of whether it's a green or a red light, and we hate it."
You know what? You know what they do up there? I think is the best thing ever. Is you don't go when the cars have a green light. What they do is they stop all traffic, and you can go across the street, or you can diagonally go to the other side other side.
So you can cross in front of anybody regardless of what the light is.
There's nobody in there. They all have red lights. So every car in the intersection, no matter where they're coming from, there's 4 lights. Everybody's got a red light, and then all the walk signs go on, and you just go wherever you want to go.
And then the green lights come on.
And then the green lights come on.
And hopefully you're out of the intersection.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
So it's more efficient.
It's unbelievable. Because, because if you can go diagonally, if you can cross and go diagonally, that's because otherwise it would take you 2 crossings. Right. It's 1 crossing. And they got like dotted lines that go kind of diagonally. So
did you read a newspaper while you were up there and find out how their health care is doing?
No.
Because when we were there 5 years ago, it was imploding because their free health care includes long-term care.
Oh, really?
And they're going to hit a serious problem when everybody starts going on that. And the young people don't want to pay the high taxes because they don't want to pay for everybody else's long-term care. And when we were there, it was a giant battle in the news. Every day there was an article of people just screaming about it. The older people want to keep it. The younger people want to do away with it. And the bottom line is it's going broke.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know how they're going to fix that. I guess just they tax everything, gas. Everything you buy has an extra health care tax.
I didn't even see a newspaper.
See, I have to know what's going on when I go places. And then everywhere we went, people are like, "You're Americans, right?" And we said, "Yes." "You got to vote for Obama because he's going to give you free health care." Everywhere we went, we had that. It's like, how's that working out for you? You want us to have your problem? No, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't really engage with people, but literally every farmer's market, restaurant, we're out walking. So you must not have left the compound.
No, we were in the city.
And nobody said, "Oh, you got to vote for Bernie Sanders so you get that free health care." No. That's weird. I don't know what's wrong with us that we attracted all the fruitcakes. I mean, I wasn't asking for it. I wasn't wearing any American flag, nothing or nothing. I'm out trying to buy a cup of coffee. And it's like, "You're Americans, aren't you? You need to vote. You got to vote for Obama to get that free health care." Everywhere we went. Maybe it was where we were.
Yeah, we went to, after dinner one night, we went to a place and got a bag of caramel corn, kind of sat on the street. And there's a lot of Oriental people up there. So I said...
You're in like central Canada, right?
No, this was the West Coast.
Oh, see, I was on the East Coast. Maybe that's what's wrong.
That's wrong, yeah.
Something was wrong up there.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, and there's a lot, and I said, let's come up with the ratio between just, plain old white people and everybody else. And it was close to 50-50.
50-50 of white and Asian and...
A lot of Asians. I mean, lots and lots of Asians. And then...
So what's the industry in that area?
Got me. Tourism is huge because of the mountains and all that kind of stuff, and it's just, so that right in there, it's not the, it's.
I bet there was a lot
I tell you, but you go farther up north, you're in the tar sands and all that kind of stuff too, because the West Coast has the oil.
Okay.
And so Vancouver is the farthest province west, and then Alberta, which is where they are. And so we had to fly. We flew to Minneapolis, changed planes, and then flew to Calgary.
But it was a productive meeting that you went to.
It was a good meeting.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah. It was
better
good.
than a waste of time any day.
No, it was not. It was not a waste of time.
That's great.
What's good? What it was the meeting of a lot of the folks who represent Royal Alliance around the country, and most of them are very, very successful. So it's just good talking to other people and seeing what they're doing and all this kind of stuff. And plus, we've grown to know a bunch of them because we see them every year, and then all this kind of stuff. So it was. We went to Jeff Planty took us to took about 10 of us, I guess, to a dinner at a Greek restaurant one night, which was barrels of fun. They had people dancing and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, it was really, really a lot of fun. And just downtown, they got all these great restaurants.
And this is because you're a top producer. You got to go to this.
Yes.
Just so everybody knows.
Yeah,
it wasn't just for the average Joe.
No, Joe couldn't go.
Anyway, what do you got?
Well, interest rates have been cut, right?
Right. And they're talking about cutting them again.
Yeah, this is crazy.
I don't get it. They want to cut them again
because
in September.
Trump wants them cut so the economy does better.
Right. This is not how this is supposed to work.
No, it's not. You're not supposed to lower interest rates when the economy is doing well. And the whole idea is you lower interest rates, you raise
when things
interest
are bad.
rates. Yes, you raise interest rates when things are doing really well.
And the economy is too hot.
And then when things get bad, which they invariably do because it goes up and down and up and down, when things get bad, then you lower interest rates. You don't lower interest rates. Now, the economy is slowing down. I mean, there's no doubt. But
the
employment's great.
Really, the tariffs are the problem. Because I had a client this week. Their business is down 2/3 the last 2 months because of the tariffs. Because they said that the consumer goods that are moving have slowed way down. And so what they do, they're part of the shipping process. Mm-hmm. They said is really rough. It's starting to show up. and agriculture's down. I mean, there's entire sectors that are down because of the tariffs. We need to get this trade war over with. That's why I keep saying, just get it done.
Well, a lot of presidents have tried it, and every time they back off.
But this time it's intellectual property theft. This is a whole new problem where they're stealing so much from us, and it's dangerous because we're talking weapon systems,
you're talking
IT. It's not, you can't have them stealing all of this.
Right.
So I don't know how you stop that.
Because it's a security issue.
Yes. So now it's a whole different game now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you fix it. I just want it over with. That's all I want for Christmas, people.
Okay.
So, anyways.
So I mean, to tell you how interest rates have changed, the federal funds rate, the Fed funds rate, which are the short-term interest rates that the banks borrow from one another, because banks are always doing that. So that's what they pay. So right now it's around a little over 2. It was up in 1980. It was up to 20%, and that was, I tell people the story all the time, that in 1980 I was with Payne Weber, big brokerage firm in Atlanta.
I was a freshman in college.
So, and the 30-year U.S. Treasury bond was paying 20%.
Wow.
That means if you bought a 30-year bond, you'd make 20%. You'd still be making 80, 90.
I wish I'd have known about that, but I was broke, so.
Yes, and I didn't have anything either. But anyway, so the manager, when you're with a big firm, they tell you what you need to, generally tell you what you need to get out and push. So a guy comes in and says, okay, the 30-year Treasury bond paying 20%, get on the phone and,
make some calls.
Yeah, make some calls, which I've always been horrible at. That's why I don't use the phone, because I have telephobia, and it's for me to talk on the phone,
Telephobia?
Yeah.
Did you make that up?
No, over my years, I've used a number of different coaches to help with business and all that kind of stuff. And I took a personality test, and he says you have to. It is. I hate to call people.
So how'd you sell anything if you can't? You had no email. What'd you do? Write letters?
No, I would just avoid. Well, that's when I started doing seminars. I figured I'm not going to go to people. I got to have people come to me. That's what that's all about. Because I wasn't going to. I don't even call people back. People. A lot of times when people would come in and meet with me, and I never called them back and said, "If you decided what you want," I just didn't do it. So I figured I had to attract people because I wasn't going to get any by going after them. And so so seminars, they come to you, and then and
it all worked out.
And it all worked out. But anyway, so manager comes in and says, 30-year Treasury bonds paying 20%. Get on the phone and start, selling it. So I calling people up. I'm not taking 20%. I'm waiting for 22%. Yeah, how people are.
Wow.
I mean, it's just and so nobody was interested. Then the rates dropped to 18%, and call people up. The rates are dropping. They're up to 18%. Oh, they're going to go back up to 20%. So nobody would buy those. Really? You couldn't give them away.
Oh my gosh.
That's how people are. People always do the wrong thing at the wrong time. It's just the nature of investing. There was a book that when I was in the Army, when I was stationed in Okinawa, and I was teaching investment courses, and I was on Armed Forces TV doing a weekly TV show, and I had this book, and it was one of these books. It was real thick, and it was like it was typed, like a lot of books were just before they had the great printing. But anyway, and it was the title of it was Why Most Investors Are Mostly Wrong Most of the Time. And it was a really
you still
really
have it?
good book. No, it weighed down my baggage when I got shipped home. So, but anyway, but it's because people get emotionally involved, and so it turns in you turn the investment world into emotion. That's where problems are. So anyway, that was that. But anyway, so the Fed funds rate, which is lower than what we pay, was over 20% in 1980. It dropped to zero, effectively, between 2000. This was after the crash. See, so what they were able to do when everything fell apart in 2007 was, and rates were about 5% at that time, the Fed funds rate, they dropped them to zero. So effectively, the government was lending money to the financial institutions for nothing. Plus they bailed a bunch of them out. And then it's kind of worked its way back up, so now that rate's a little bit over 2%. But, the lower interest rate's going to affect savers because you're not, the CD rates are going to go down. And
They already have. So I had somebody in my office yesterday, and they said, we've piled up all this cash. Where's the best CD? I said, well, it used to be Ally Bank online, used to be 3%. Let me take a look. Ally's dropped all the way down to 2.5%, like overnight. And I called the credit union, Robbins, and they're like 2. 1 year is on down to 2 now. 2 years is only 2.1. Yeah. So... the rate, and here's your book. You can still buy it on Amazon for $23.
You're kidding.
No, that's your book that you just talked about. There's people selling.
Most investors are mostly wrong most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only one left.
Right. So this is what's great about Amazon is people get junk out of their cabinets and they can become a seller.
Wow. Look at that.
I'll get it for you for Christmas.
It's by William.
It's probably free
Simon.
online somewhere.
It might. It's got. Well, listen. This book is 100 years old and it's got 2 ratings. But it's I think the books that I wrote years ago probably are still on Amazon.
Oh, probably.
So
I had another client in this week, and they were really upset about some documentaries that they've been watching about carbon emissions. And I've had to look it up because I did a talk. Somebody asked me to come talk about plans that the Democrats have and CO2, and I learned that dairy cows are the worst CO2 emissions farm animal. And the whole carbon tax credit thing, which has been tried before, it's not going to work. It hasn't worked in the past. They've tried and tried and tried it. And the problem with the whole carbon tax credit deal is you have to create a whole new IRS type agency to go out and audit everyone and their carbon emissions. Every cow, every pig, every chicken, how much manure they produce. It's impossible.
Why don't
it's
they
totally
just put mufflers
impossible.
on them?
And it's the burping is what the cows do because they eat their cud, they chew their cud, and they have to keep regurgitating their food because they have 4 stomachs. I mean, it's like a whole process they go through that creates all of this. But anyways, so this is a really cool site. If you're upset about carbon emissions and global warming, go to worldtree.info. I got this in an email, or I saw it somewhere yesterday, and there's this tree. It's called the Empress tree, and you can plant an acre of this tree and erase your entire lifespan carbon emissions with 1 acre of this tree. It grows, in 6 months, it grows 9 feet. In 10 years, it's harvestable, and it's better than pine wood. So all we have to do is plant a bunch of those trees. We don't have to worry about all this.
And then we can just
keep driving around.
Keep driving gas engines and do away with electric cars.
Until we can figure out the electric car thing and we can actually have the technology. That's just it. Just if you have a bunch of land, just get a bunch of these trees and plant them and you're all good. And no worries.
That's wonderful. They're talking about car prices, how high they are.
Well, it's because of the technology, and you're like driving a computer now. And they've got all of these safety things. I took mine in. We took the Acura in for an oil change, and it already had a recall. It's a year old, and it was some sensor in the back hatch they had to replace. I mean, it's the high tech and the recalls, and it's very expensive.
My car has a navigation system, and the book, the manual for the navigation system, is 254 pages.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Can you imagine that? I mean, seriously.
The sensors,
why don't they just put Siri in there and just tell her what you want?
Right.
They do that on some of the cars.
Let's go
7420940 is the number. Good morning. You're on Your Money with Sherri and Steve.
Hey, Sherri. Hey, Randy. This is Max in Macon.
Max in Macon. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Great. I'm calling because I've got a daughter that's entering the public school system employment up in North Georgia.
Nice.
And just finished her master's, and she's trying to decide between a 403B and a 457 plan. I've done some research online for her, and then I thought I would call the experts. And one component of her situation is she's not married and could change jobs in a couple of years. It's her first job out of school, and each plan seems to have its advantages and disadvantages, but with that component in her situation, do you have any thoughts about which might be better for her?
Well, the 403B is really just the same as a 401K.
Mm-hmm.
Or a 457 is a government plan, and a 403B is a private industry plan.
Yeah. So what you have in the school system, and they generally tend to be insurance companies that are offering it. And then so you go in. So it's effectively a 401k. You can, when you leave, you can move it. You can leave it there. It's just payroll deduction, that type of thing.
And the cost is probably the same. I mean, what they charge has to be nominal to be in them, and it's really the offerings. And the bottom, then the bigger picture is there anybody that she can call for advice? That would be, I would call the companies and say, is there somebody I can talk to? But right now, I mean, she just needs to get into.
Yeah, well, here they have people that are representing the insurance company, and they go, they can meet with people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And,
That's getting more and more rare, though. I have whole employees from huge systems who say that no one shows up anymore for an annual meeting. They don't do it because of the liability. They don't want the liability of giving advice. That's what happened during the financial downturn. And so if there's anybody that will talk to her, I would go with that company.
Okay. There was some stuff on the internet about with the 457 that if she leaves before vesting, she like loses the money or something. Does that make any sense?
No, that can't imagine. No, maybe she would lose the match, but I can't imagine her. Yeah. She wouldn't lose what she put into it. That's not possible.
Okay, so she could take that out either way.
But so she's.
And then the question is, can it be rolled over into like an IRA if she leaves?
Right.
Or
and they both
a lot
would.
A lot of people just leave it with it. I mean, she can leave it as it is. And
a lot of companies, if she changes jobs, a lot of companies now allow you to roll that in, like a 401k into the new company that she works for. Yeah. So she's got a master's degree. So what is she going to be doing?
Speech therapy.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And she would always have the option of going into the medical side of that. And
wow.
So, as the dad, I'm thinking, well, what if 3 years from now you've done a good job of putting money into the 403B or the 457, but then a better job in the medical side of that profession comes up, she wants to leave, or she meets the right guy, you know how that is, and moves somewhere else, which investment option would have been best for her if she leaves? That's kind of the
well, the 403B I think is probably the best, because it's really just it's really pretty much the same as a 401k. It's like you're with a company and you leave. You can do any number of things with the 401k. You can do the same thing with the tax. The deferred, the annuity thing that they're offering, and they have all kinds of choices of the what they call separate accounts that are in there. So you're going to have growth accounts and money market accounts and bond accounts and all that kind of stuff that are managed. And all she has to do is pick it.
All right.
And like I say, she can just leave it. She doesn't even have to until she has to take required minimum distribution.
I like people to roll it into the new. If she goes to the hospital, I like them to roll it in and have one account that they're watching, because people tend to get stuff spread all over the place, and then they don't keep an eye on any of it because it's overwhelming.
Yeah, the people that I have are older, and so they're not going back to work. They're just kind of like, retiring, and you can keep it or you can roll it into an IRA.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
well, good for her. She's on a great career path.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, good. Well,
all
congratulations.
Right, go 1/16th, Randy. Always good talking to you. Take care. All right. Bye.
So anyway, why the car prices are up on average since 2013 up $4,000 since then. The average price car now is $35,631, and so that's up $4,000 from 2013.
But people are buying bigger cars. People are buying big SUVs and big trucks. They're spending more. That's what people want. Gas is cheap, and so everybody's buying these larger vehicles. It's going the opposite direction of what people thought we were going to do. People thought we were going to start buying smaller cars like my car because of fuel efficiency, lower emissions, and all of that, and it's not happening. I think it's consumer driven. Look at these trucks they're selling.
It's partly the effect of tariffs on raw materials.
Steel.
Yeah.
Probably has a part to do with it.
Car prices are a great vehicle for understanding issues underpinning the current economy. So what's behind the climb in prices for new automobiles? It's partly the effect of the tariffs on raw materials, a Trump policy. It's partly due to rising interest rates since 2015, which are not going down. So
right.
That's not his. and so that's the thing. So the average price, the monthly payments, the average monthly payment is $532 a month. The average interest paid for a car is $2,000.
Total lifetime?
Yeah. And the steel tariffs are raising the price per car on average $250.
So what? You don't have to buy a $70,000 truck. You can buy a used truck. I mean, people are choosing to buy these giant vehicles they drive. I don't know if you've noticed it, but people that have these giant trucks drive like they're in a small car. They squeeze in between cars. They roll right over the top of you. They drive aggressively in these giant trucks, and they cannot stop that thing as fast as you can stop a car. I don't think they have any understanding of the danger that they're putting people around them in. And every week, I barely avoid a wreck because of how other people are driving.
It's because you have such a small car.
No, it's because people aren't paying attention. People merge right on top of me, and I have to get out of the lane to avoid them hitting me.
That never happens to me.
Well, you're not driving up this road all the time. You're not driving up 16 and 75 all the time.
I do it every week.
Once a week.
Yeah, but I do it in rush hour where there's more cars than you want to have.
Well, you've never had anybody in that 1675 split. You've never had anybody try to just come right over on top of you.
Nancy had somebody that decided to go to the right lane and then changed her mind in the middle of it and came back in, and they brushed bumpers, but it was just a scratch, and Nancy got it off with toothpaste.
Well, I don't care. They're not paying attention. I had a guy pull over. He merged onto 75. I'm going home from the gym at night up I-75 because and so this guy merges onto 75. He's looking straight ahead. He's got an earbud in. He's talking on his phone, and he came over right onto me into my lane, and I had to move into the next lane, and thank God nobody was there, or we would have had a massive wreck. I'm seeing this every week. You have to be so careful. And just because you're in a turn lane doesn't mean that you are safe, because people come right into your lane. They don't understand to stay in their lane. I mean, it's so bad. I tell my clients, don't even drive on that 75-16 split area. Just get on Riverside and come through that way.
Well, I have made a decision because usually when I go up there, especially in the wintertime, it's dark, which makes it really bad because there's no lights. So I've decided if I'm going to the Macon office, that I'm going to get off on Vineville, Forsyth, and just go down that way over to
on Riverside,
down to Pinona, and then just get on down there. Because if it's bad weather, I'm not going through that split.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Anywho, so be careful out there.
Anyway, our main speaker was a guy from the Blue Angels, and it was really, really good. And you think about it. I mean, he showed us videos, and, the videos from inside the planes and how close they are. It's amazing how these guys do that.
It's crazy.
I mean, it is absolutely crazy. He said there's times they're 4 inches away.
Yeah, I'd be terrified.
I mean, they're going whatever million miles an hour. He said, but I feel safer doing that than I do driving on the highway.
Because everybody's paying attention.
Yeah.
They're all on a team together paying attention.
Yeah.
But I would be afraid of a wind gust or something going boop.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just, and the videos from up there. I mean, they had cameras in the planes and stuff like that. It just, the stuff he showed to us was just unbelievable. I mean, those guys are really
talented,
smart
smart
to be able
people.
to do that. I mean, it's real. I mean, you just. And then afterwards, they get together and have these sessions about what they did wrong and what they need to do and all this kind of stuff. And they just, it's a real team effort. And they just, and if they did something wrong or they need to improve on something at that meeting, they just all say that I did this and then that was wrong. And they just, So, but anyway.
So I've got 2 health things that I think are important enough to say. There was an article this week about dementia being caused by over-the-counter drugs. And so you can go to drugs.com, and it's anticholinergic. Just email me, Sherri, Sherri, at rfmoney.com, and I'll forward it to you because I can't even say this word. But anyways, there's a certain drug that is in a lot of very popular name brand over-the-counter medications that literally cause symptoms of dementia. So there's this woman in her 60s. appearing to have severe dementia. She's incoherent. Her short-term memory was terrible. She couldn't focus on questions that her doctor was asking, that he felt like something else was wrong. Turns out she was taking Benadryl for allergies, another antihistamine for itching, another antipsychotic medication for mood fluctuations, as well as medications for urinary incontinence. And every one of those medications has the effect on you that makes you look like you have Alzheimer's.
Really?
And they took her off the drugs, and she went back to normal. And so be careful about how much of this stuff you're taking. We're talking about...
Well, she's taking a lot of stuff.
Well, there's 4 different things that all have the same effect. So just as an example, Benadryl, chlortrimeton, Tylenol PM, Aleve PM, Unisom, Dramamine, and various cold medications. So if you want more information about that, just email me, and I'll send you the article that I read. And then the second thing... So my doctor, when I had my physical last month, told me to start taking a B complex because of my blood work. Something he saw in it, he said, you got to start taking a B complex. So I went and bought some, and I'm taking it every day. And then I read this article about B vitamins. People that don't have enough B vitamins, especially B12, have tiredness, dizziness, tinnitus, heart palpitations, shortness of breath, anxiety, feeling faint, brain fog, insomnia. I never knew any of this. So here's the bottom line. If somebody in your world, like our daughter, who's becoming a vegan now, she's decided that that's what she wants to do. She doesn't want to eat anything that has a face, which is a very popular trend. I sent this article to her because if you're a vegan or a vegetarian and you don't eat animal products, you are not getting B12, and you're going to have a deficiency that's going to create all sorts of problems within your gut and your whole system. And the older you are, the more it affects you because you're aging and you don't absorb. And you can't eat enough greens to offset this. If you don't eat animal products, bottom line is, if you want to know this article, I'll send it to you too. Just shoot me an email. But you need, if you're a vegan and somebody in your family is a vegan or a vegetarian, which is just such a hot trend right now, they need to be on a B complex. He told me to take a B complex that included B12, folate, and thiamine, I think. So I did. So I'm taking it every day. And I eat meat on top of it because as you get older, your body absorbs less of this stuff. It's just natural. So anyways, what you got?
This is a great article.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon was scammed out of $375,000 by a 22-year-old who returned boxes of dirt. Did you see that?
No, but I have a client. Last Christmas, he said all of a sudden they bought all their Christmas stuff on Amazon, and he noticed he stopped getting the email confirmations from Amazon when they were doing the orders. And so he called, and he was told, yeah, you've returned everything. So we're refunding you to this green whatever card, this Amazon card. And he said, that's not me. He said, I've received the packages. I didn't return anything. And so somebody got into his email somehow and was saying that they were returning everything because it was wrong and getting the refund, even though he still got the goods. And so somebody's asleep at the wheel at Amazon.
Well, this is a guy from Spain. He filled up ordered items boxes with dirt and registering with exactly the same weight of the product. He would then receive a refund from Amazon and sell the original item. The returned packages would end up sitting around Amazon's warehouse where they're not checked often. The scam wasn't discovered until through a random search when someone opened the box and it was found full of dirt. So Amazon's return policy states items shipped from the website, including Amazon warehouse, can be returned within 30 days of receipt. Refunds are processed in 2 business days. So that means they're not even opening the stuff that's getting returned.
And it doesn't go back to Amazon a lot of times. It goes back to another place where it's just a return facility where they sell. So there was an article about 6 months ago about this couple that were news anchors, and they decided to buy a case lot of goods from the Amazon return place. And you can buy like a ton of returns for a bulk rate. And so they bought like a pallet of return stuff, and some of it was broken. Some of it, there was a rototiller that had dirt all over it. The people ordered it from Amazon. They used it in their yard, had dirt all over it and grass, put it back in the box and returned it and got their money back. And so it went to this warehouse where they just put all this crap on pallets, and then you can buy these things in case lots.
So nobody's opening it at Amazon.
No, nobody's looking at it. It goes to the return facility. They throw it on a pallet. They package it up, and then you can go and you can buy it. And it's a crapshoot as to whether it's worth anything or not. So I can't remember what they spent, like $250. The worst part was the shipping cost. So if you're getting a pallet that's boxes full of dirt, you're really getting messed over, because not only is it not worth anything, the shipping price would be huge because of the weight.
Amazon was never opened the boxes, so they were just sitting there.
I know, but they're going to resell it. They're going to resell it on a pallet. I mean, it all goes on a pallet, and you can go and buy case lots of this stuff. They're not going to go back through that stuff. They don't have time. It's a waste of money. Yeah. And so we just bought a cat tree, because we can't have enough cat trees when you have 4 giant cats. And the picture was so misleading because it had kittens on it. So it looked like it was the right size, and I didn't look at the dimensions. I went with what I saw in the picture. This thing shows up, and we put it together, and it was a good product, but it was too small. Like, our cats couldn't even fit in the little cubbies in it because they're too big. So we had to send it back. And so and there's this new thing that I didn't pay attention to when I bought it. So it was free shipping, but to have free shipping to go back, we had to take it to a UPS drop store. Had to physically take it to a UPS store, and they said, this is the new thing they're doing. And so when you're buying something, you need to look at your shipping options, because we had to take it to the UPS store to get 0 return cost. Otherwise, it was going to cost me $36 to return it.
Well, that's what we do. That's what we just go to the one that's on.
Well, it's close to you.
96. Yeah.
So whatever, but not everybody is close to a UPS store. So they said you can scroll down and you can look at the shipping options and print a different one, but otherwise it'll automatically be UPS only.
And it has to be an actual UPS store.
Yes.
It can't be one of these mail places that handle UPS, because that's what I went in. I went up to the one on Russell Parkway,
and they can't do it.
And they said we can't do it. Go up to the.
But pay attention to the shipping, because that's all changed, and it'll be a hassle unless you enjoy going to the UPS store, where there's one on Watson and there's one on 96 and Warner Robins. But anyway, so when Randy took it back and they scanned it, the refund was immediately in our account.
I walked out of the store and I got a buzz thing on my phone that says you've been credited.
So that's not going to go back to Amazon. They're not going to repackage it. It's going to go to that warehouse of the return junk. And somebody's going to buy a pallet of it and end up with a cat tree that's only good for kittens. Hopefully they have kittens.
But you know what Amazon does? If Amazon gets, and other similar type of places, if you get too many returns from, like on an item or whatever, they cut off the seller.
Because it's killing them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're losing money hand over fist on the shipping and the product. So, anywho. So did you see this article about store brands cutting into big food?
No.
So there was an article, you know about the Kraft Heinz deal and how bad their last quarterly earnings report was really horrible, right?
I don't know.
So as disclosure, we have the Berkshire Hathaway index in our portfolio.
Stock, not the index. It's a stock.
Yes, it's a stock, but but you're
not allowed to talk about stocks here.
Oh, I can't even say that?
Nope.
I thought we had to say something in a disclosure if we own something.
Can't say it.
Okay, well, never mind. Erase that. So, anywho.
Yeah, erase it from the record.
Kraft Heinz was down like 20% in their last earnings report. And it doesn't surprise me, because I don't buy a name brand. I mean, do you buy name brand ketchup and mustard?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, I only buy Heinz ketchup because everything else.
Do you love Teresa Heinz?
I like it. It's thicker.
You should try the Kroger
cocktail
brand.
Sauce now. Some of the Kroger brands are just, I like.
Some are bad.
Yeah, and some are.
Some
so for ketchup, I like Heinz. For cocktail sauce, I like Heinz.
But anyways, they're getting pounded.
For mac and cheese, I like Kraft.
You eat mac and cheese?
Yeah, we had it the other day.
That surprises me.
Very often. I was just, the stuff you put in the
right, the processed junk.
Yeah,
it's all fake.
That's okay.
Fake
it's good.
Cheese.
Listen. Could be fake macaroni too. I don't care. I like it.
But anyways, it says here, store-branded products from cheese to canned tomatoes are eating away at the sales of big food companies. Retailers are now making more of them as they compete to keep grocery prices low. Kroger, the largest U.S. supermarket chain, has almost doubled the number of products it sells under its own brands since 2005. And I've been wondering about this because I don't understand how one company, Mission Tortillas, pays premium to have their product at my eye level, and there's the Kroger competing product right next to it for $2 less. And Mission makes the product, and they package it as a Kroger product. I've been waiting for this shoe to drop on this. So
I eat Rice Krispies a lot for breakfast, and I buy the Kroger brand.
The same thing.
But not the Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran's different?
Yeah, Raisin Bran's different. There's a difference in it.
It's not as crunchy?
Yeah.
Or the raisins are hard?
Not as good.
I used to eat Raisin Bran. The thought of it makes me nauseous now. Retail sales of private label foods and beverages have notched faster year-over-year gains than branded items for 3 consecutive years. Private label of the past was to copy the national brands. Retailers are thinking more ambitiously about store brands, and I have noticed this at Kroger because they have the private label. They have Kroger, and then they have the retail brand, whatever name brand, the Kroger brand knockoff, and then they have their private label brand.
Which is called what?
Private label. It's got a little gold thing on it. Anyways, Gil Phipps, Kroger's vice president of branding, marketing, and private brands, said the grocer wants to change the perception of such products from knockoffs to knockouts. So they're going to beat the name brand. So that's a huge shift in the whole grocery.
I don't understand how Kroger makes money.
They shuffle the prices around, and people don't pay attention. And so I go to the store, and the coffee I like is usually $6.99 a box for the pods. It'll go up to $8.99. One day it was $3.99, so I bought all of it. I bought everything they had of the one that I like. I bought the whole 12 boxes of it because it's $3.99. Yeah. But most people don't do that. They show up whenever they're shopping and they have a list and they buy what they buy. They're not looking at price and comparing, and that's how they make their money is by shuffling the prices around. In fact, the commissary on base, the price tags are electronic, and they've been that way ever since the new commissary opened. So they can go in the computer and they can program the prices to shift on a daily basis. They can shift it so the prices all go up on payday or on Friday or on whenever people shop peak. They can track who buys what on what day, how much of what sells. Your 4th of July, imagine that. Hot dogs, potato chips, salsa, tortillas, all of that. I'm sure the prices all shift upward a little tick so they can make the margin. It's all a game now, so you have to pay attention because the prices shuffle around so much. As you see something on sale that you want, buy a pile of it. That's what I do. Stick it in the freezer.
So meanwhile, do you have a Capital One card?
No. The business does. Randy does, and they get cash back.
Yeah. Well, because he got the data breach the other day.
Right.
So I haven't heard anything from them, so I don't know how they're going to notify people.
Probably send you a letter.
Yeah. 140,000 Social Security numbers and 80,000 linked bank accounts were compromised from this one lady who did it. But they say that she might not have done anything with this stuff, but who knows? But that's the scary part of all this.
So just freeze your credit.
But it is frozen.
It's free. I mean, it's free to freeze your credit.
Yeah, my credit's all frozen.
And unfreeze it is free. Yep. Anybody can do that.
Yep.
Go to Clark.com. Clark Howard has a really good freeze credit guide. Makes it real simple. He's got the hyperlinks to the companies, and so just go to Clark.com. In the search bar, just put in credit freeze. It's all there. It's free. Freeze your credit. Write down the password, please. And then if you go out somewhere and you're going to buy a car and finance it, you find out what credit bureau they're going to use, and you just unfreeze your credit with that bureau,
right.
Do the loan, and then freeze it again. It costs nothing. There's no reason to worry about this. Well, and pay attention to your bank statements in case something is wrong.
And the other thing is that a lot of the financial companies will send, American Express does it, I know, if the card's not present, and if you haven't inputted all the information, and so you buy something and how does that work? You ever gotten any of those things? Card not present. It's like you do something over the phone. You call somebody up. You call up and say, "Send me this." Like when I get stuff every time I get something from Amazon, I get a card not present thing. Now I get the order receipt.
Yeah.
You get a card, and if you...
I don't order anything over the phone. So I guess I haven't had that.
You have never had a card not present thing?
No, I don't order over the phone.
But like if I'm using a lot of the services that we use, I'll get a card not present thing from, if it's done online or somebody has, like for the compliance company we work with has my credit card, so when they put something through, I get an email. As soon as it's charged, I get an email, card not present. Because they know if the card's present. But if you call and if you call up somebody and say, here's my credit card number, here's then it's card not present, and I get an email from American Express.
Well, that's good.
Yes. So I always know. And it's good to always know.
So every time I order something on Amazon, Randy gets the email.
Yeah, Nancy, I get Nancy's emails too. Not only do I get Nancy's emails, I get her boxes. So not only do I get all those emails, I got to deliver the stuff. I got to start charging for shipping because I have to personally take the stuff home. Don't you think I should get paid for that? I mean,
No.
really,
It's not like you're ordering 40-pound bags of cat litter.
Well, yes, that's true.
I mean, it's like
Her stuff
really
is pretty light.
Yeah, she doesn't order heavy stuff. Give her a break. All right. Did you see that Georgia is the fintech mecca of the United States? This was in
The who?
Georgia Trend magazine. I just got it yesterday. Technology, fintech, financial technology that enables us to conduct everyday financial transactions is fintech. Over the past few decades, Georgia has become a fintech leader with more than 120 companies processing 2/3 of all U.S. payments and creating innovative technologies for increasingly digital financial world. Georgia has done this.
Wow.
This is amazing.
Does it mention companies?
Yeah, so it started because of Equifax.
Yes.
So they got into processing payments, not just doing credit.
Right.
And then TSYS, which is based in Columbus.
That's Total Systems, which I guess is or was the parent company for Synovus.
Yes. Check Free out of Norcross, National Data Corp.
That's been in Atlanta for years.
And Global Payments. But it says there are more than 38,000 workers, and the presence of fintech accelerators and startup incubators like the Advanced Technology Development Center at Georgia Tech. So I've been seeing billboards about this. Study fintech. Have you seen them?
Mm-mm.
There's one on 247 on the way to Macon.
I pay attention to when I'm driving.
Yeah. So anyways, I was like, why are they advertising a fintech course? And it's because they have a shortage of workers. And so you can study this online. So there are 120 companies doing this. Let me see. U.S. transactions are worth $80 billion. And revenue of the top 20 Georgia-based fintech company is $72 billion for the state. Wow. It's a big deal. So in 2011, when Bitcoin was still in its infancy, BitPay was founded in Alpharetta to enable businesses to accept Bitcoin payments. Fast forward 8 years, and BitPay is the world's largest Bitcoin payment processor, with merchant customers on 6 continents and $1 billion in payments processed last year. And it's all happening right here. So they're trying to develop more talent. They're trying to attract more people into this business. They want 5,000 professionals to go through the program starting next year. And the 5 high-demand disciplines: cybersecurity, data science, software development, client services, and innovation. So I'm trying to think of where Georgia Fintech Academy. That's what you need to research if you have a kid who's interested in this kind of thing, like cybersecurity. Georgia Fintech Academy, because a lot of it's online. You could study it from anywhere.
Yeah.
That's just huge. But I wondered what the deal was with that, because I've seen these billboards, and it's like, what are they talking about? And that's what they're talking about.
Good.
Pretty exciting.
That is exciting.
What you got?
Oh, they're talking about this article about what Social Security's budget woes mean for your retirement benefits. So 2034 is the year right now. Is that about where it's been?
Yeah, it improved by 1 year last year.
And that's not when it runs out of money. That's when it runs out of money.
It can't pay full benefits.
Right.
So tax revenues were up last year, so it gained a year. But the other thing that happened, remember under Obama, the Disability Trust Fund was going broke, and so he started taking disability payroll taxes and diverting. Wait a minute. he started taking Social Security taxes and diverting them into the Disability Trust Fund because it was going broke. Right. Well, in the last year, the Disability Trust Fund has gained 9 years of solvency because people aren't going on it. And I had a woman in my office 2 weeks ago, and she's an attorney over disability in Macon. And she said the reason fewer people are on disability is because people are working instead of applying for disability.
Right.
So 9 years of solvency in 1 year. The money that was going to that's going back to Social Security. Payroll taxes are up. Millennials have not. See, this is all supposed to blow up about the same time that millennials reach their peak earning years. So everything I've read is it's probably going to be fine, but the one that's really worse is Medicare. That's a disaster waiting to happen.
But it says here, in the annual report, the Social Security Board of Trustees, it said the trust funds that help support the system will run out of money in 2034.
Right.
So, have no money.
Because they're projecting it based on right now. They don't know how much money, how much payroll taxes millennials will be paying. They don't know how much longer some people will work.
Yeah, but then the next sentence says if nothing happens, only 79% of an individual's benefits. So they're not.
Right, they can't pay full benefits.
So it won't run out of money. Oh, they'll just have to because it's going to.
There's not enough to pay full benefits. Yeah. But
And the actual cost will exceed its income for the 2018 for the first. I don't know since first time since 1982.
See, that didn't happen. I've looked it up. That's not right. When was that article written?
I just got it today.
I know, but when's the article? When was it written?
I don't. You can't print stuff anymore off the internet because they have all those. Everything's got side pictures
videos
and stuff
and garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to cut all of it out.
So what I do is I cut and paste the whole thing to a Word document, and I take a lot of the stuff out. But
that's what I do.
But it was this week. Oh well, here it is. No, it wasn't this week. It was June 12th.
But that's not right.
2018.
Right. That's not correct. Because the trust fund report comes out the first of the year, and I always look at it because...
erase that from the record.
No worries.
So the Labor Department's released a proposal to create a new type of apprenticeship that would be run by business groups, colleges, and other entities,
which is already happening.
The federal government.
Companies are already doing this without the government having to get involved in this. Look at the state of Georgia. Governor Deal started the High Demand Career Initiative, and all the technical schools took off, and they're all offering all these free programs. I mean, they can stimulate the idea, but they don't need to be involved in it. Companies need to do it themselves.
In the construction industry, the largest single sector for apprenticeships, those jobs can pay $60,000 a year.
Right.
So.
Or you can be a dental hygienist. Construction, dental hygienist. Or, a lot of other truck driver, make $100,000 a year.
Dental hygienist.
I mean, really.
Yeah, you get this big old brawny guy with his hands in your mouth. He won't even fit in your mouth.
That's funny.
So, anyway.
So Trump, when he got elected, he encouraged states to impose work requirements for people that were on food stamps.
One minute left.
Okay. So last year, 200,000 people came off food stamps because they're working now instead of just on food stamps. So it's working in the right direction, just so you know. There are good things happening you're never going to hear about.
Only here.
So tell them who we are.
I don't know who we are. We're Rosenberg Financial Group. We manage money for retired and soon-to-be retired clients. If you want to learn more about us, go to our website, retirerelax.com. Tells what we do, how we do it. There's a video on there that kind of shows how we do it. And there's all kinds of educational. It's loaded. Randy's got it loaded up with all kinds of educational videos.
Free reports.
Free reports and our normal free reports. It's really easy to use. It's a nice-looking website. And
if you want a complimentary consultation, you can either go through the website and contact us, or you can call us at 922-8100.
Or 741-4457.
And we will see you.
In Macon. Have a great week. We'll be here with you next Saturday morning.
views expressed on this show should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities or services mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risk, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should only be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Securities are offered through Royal Alliance Associates Incorporated, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services are offered through Rosenberg Financial Group, a registered investor advisor not affiliated with Royal Alliance Associates Incorporated. Offices are located at 2517 Moody Road, Warner Robins, and 4875 Riverside Drive, Suite 201 in Macon. Phone numbers are 922-8100 and 741-4457.